Hey everyone, welcome to this remote edition of Sports Unlimited. I'm Morgan Atza in Owings Mills, where the Ravens just wrapped up practice number 11 as they enter week 3 of training camp. And it brought good news on the injury front for the Ravens. A key piece to the offense is back, making his 2023 training camp debut in fullback Pat Ricard. Ricard has been removed from the physically unable to perform list, and while he's been here all offseason, this was his first practice of the 2023 season following off-season hip surgery. In Ricard's return, some of his workload was even with the Ravens' offensive line.
We're looking at that. You know, it's just a multiple role kind of thing. I mean, Pat's quite an athlete. You know, he can do a lot of different things, and maybe we expand his role just a little bit for a little bit of time here and see how he does. So we're going to look at that. There's a chance he'll take some reps here. We just want to look at it right now, see what it looks like, and if you feel good about it, then keep moving with it. And it's kind of late, you know what I mean? So he'd have to really look good for us to do that. But with Pat, you never know. I wouldn't count him out.
Some other Ravens practice notes from today on the attendance front. Outside linebacker David Ajabo has returned after missing a couple due to an undisclosed injury last week. The Ravens are down 3 in the secondary. Still the big name is cornerback Rock Yassin. And Governor Wes Moore was in attendance today during the Ravens training camp practice number 11. Reporting in Owings Mills, I'm Morgan Atza for Sports Unlimited.
All right, we are still tracking a serious line of storms, severe weather all up and down the 95 corridor as we're now in the heart or second portion of the heart, I'd say, of the afternoon evening commute. Tornado watch continues outside of severe thunderstorm warnings, but boy, tons of severe thunderstorm warnings, basically encompassing the whole 95 corridor up and down from Bel Air down to Baltimore, down to Severn and Annapolis, as winds could approach or exceed 60 miles an hour. I got a feeling there's going to be a lot of power outages and a lot of traffic control signals that are going to have a lot of problems this evening. So take it slow, take it easy, treat those out power signal or those out traffic signals rather as four-way stop signs. 6, 9, midnight, still some residual showers and storms, but the worst of the weather is out of here by about 8 or 9 p.m. We are tracking this minute by minute, hour by hour as it's developing on the Fox 45 News at 6.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. Coming up on Fox 45 News at 6, a woman's body is found along a popular trail in Harford County. The latest on the search for a killer. In a live look at our Fox 45 Chevy Storm Tracker headed towards Pikesville in Baltimore County. Storms rolling through, rain is here, and it's rough out there. Be careful, folks. More coming up in a moment.
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 News at 6.
And Fox 45 News continues to be on weather alert tonight as severe storms roll through our region. We're taking a live look across Maryland. On your top left, the Inner Harbor, lots of rain coming down there. Top right is Towson. Bottom left, our Chevy storm tracker is on 695 driving towards Pikesville. We see lots of red brake lights there as people try to get home. The storm hitting during rush hour. And then on the bottom right, we have our scene in Bel Air. We see traffic out there and lots of rain and some heavy winds as well. Well, thank you for staying with us. I'm Mary Bubala. The storms are barreling across the state right now with strong wind and heavy rains. As we said, we have live team coverage tonight, starting with Chief Meteorologist Jonathan Myers. Jonathan, what's the latest on these storms' tracks?
Yeah, we promised you some really bad timing with this, and that's exactly what's happening. A parking lot right now, west side of 695, and you see here the severe thunderstorm warnings pretty much encompassing, at this point, it's the entire area, now even the eastern shore getting in on it, but western side of the Chesapeake Bay, that's going to be until 6:30 p.m. till 7 p.m. on the eastern shore, and we have just been getting rip-roared with the rain and thunderstorms. Look at 95. You can't even see it. The red, that's probably kind of co-located over the brownish red roadway here on our radar. That's 695, 695, all just totally covered up in red. This is blinding downpours, lots of lightning here. There's a lot of wind that's coming out of these storms as well, continuing to move eastbound. I mean, they are moving fast, too. The winds at 75 miles an hour at times, at least indicated on the radar here. And the motion is to the east at about 55. So as quick as it's moved in, it will move out. But places around Essex, Middle River, take cover now. And inline Bullies Quarters, as well as Severn, Dundalk, and Glen Burnie within about the next 10 to 15 minutes. We're going to be tracking this closely, minute by minute, keeping you safe. My full Weather Authority forecast.
Jonathan, thank you. We're going to get right to Fox 45's Rebecca Pryor. She's live in Carroll County. Rebecca, that area has had its tornado warning expire, but you've seen some serious damage with power line poles slamming onto a major highway. That's an indication of some seriously strong wind.
Yeah, we've seen dozens, even telephone poles ripped out of the ground, some toppled onto trees. We want to start here. We do have first responders clearing the area. We are on 140, Maryland 140 east and west. You can see in the intersection, you know, both lanes of traffic are shut down, which is causing quite some traffic backup. So be prepared for that if you're driving through this way. As you can see, we have one telephone pole that was just ripped in half, but this is just the beginning of it. Take a closer look at that close call I was telling you about earlier. This is one of the cars that had a telephone pole drop directly on top of it. Thankfully, though, no injuries. I was able to speak to a state trooper, and even though this area has seen significant damage across the region, they are saying so far no injuries at all have been reported. You can see the driver of that car seemingly able to escape out of the back side of his store. Again, we're told everyone that was involved in this was safe. Taking a look down the road, though, it gets even worse here. We have back-to-back telephone poles toppled, ripped out as if they were just toothpicks, and this happened in a matter of minutes. This storm, it came fast, it came furious. We're also told that there are several more cars with telephone poles on top of them down the road. As you can see, lots of flashing lights up that way. We're heard that first responders are still working to clear the area and will be here for a while. BG&E crews also spoke with us. They said that there are widespread outages. The entire region is lacking power. As you can see, we have more first responders coming now. They're mobilizing in droves up and down this roadway. We continue to stay out here and monitor the area. Again, the storm has passed through. I don't know if we can take one more look out at, this is almost the mountains towards Thurmont area, towards the west. This is where the storm came from. There is light at the end of the tunnel. The skies are starting to clear, so we're hoping that this, you know, we've seen the worst of it now. It's just time to clean up. However, as you can see by all of the damage, that won't be done anytime soon. So again, stay home, stay safe if you can. Lots of traffic out on the roadways. It's just a mess out here. Mary, back to you.
Rebecca, thank you. I've never seen anything like that with those power lines, telephone poles, and knocked like toothpicks. Thank you. Well, Fox 45's Alexa Ashwell keeping track of conditions in Baltimore City. Alexa, what are you seeing now?
Mary, the thunder and lightning here in downtown Baltimore. We're along Pratt Street that runs west to east here in downtown Baltimore near the Inner Harbor. You can see the heavy rain coming down here. The wind has since picked up since we last spoke with you all as well. Now, about 4:30, it was bright, sunny skies and hot, speaking to just how quickly this storm is moving through. Around 5:15, we started to see those dark clouds move in from the west, northwest. The wind had picked up. We watched as area restaurants tore down their outdoor seating, those umbrellas. And by 5:30, the storm was here. Heavy rain, wind. And I want to point out to you, of course, we've been talking about how this is evening rush hour. The water that is building up there on the roadway. So drivers certainly want to take it slow. We're seeing those flashes of lightning. You can hear the thunder right now. I'm not sure if you guys can hear that from where I am right now, but drivers certainly want to take it slow if they are out here and having to make their way home. But that is the latest look of what the weather is like here in downtown Baltimore. Kai, Mary, back to you.
All right, Alexa, thank you. This is a look at the BGE outage map. Hopefully we can call that up in just a moment. Let me just tell you what it is showing. It seems the website, has crashed with so many people trying to look at it. So the website has crashed. At last check, more than 40,000 people were without power. As soon as it comes back, we'll bring it to you. Now, the severe weather has several businesses and government buildings closing early. Baltimore County, Harford County, and Howard County, just some of the jurisdictions closing its buildings so employees could get home before the storms began. Now, if a tornado does pop up, here are some of the ways you need to stay safe. Get away from the windows immediately. Go to a safe room without windows. The safest place is usually a basement. If you don't have a basement, sometimes it's a bathroom without windows. If your home does not have it, that's right, go to the bathroom or closet. Stay aware of weather conditions for sure. Get alerts on your phone or TV and listen for sirens. Tornadoes can strike quickly, so being up to date on current conditions is always important. Finally, cover yourself with a blanket or mattress if you can for a little extra protection if you are in a tornado warning situation. Now scan that QR code right there on your screen to show us what the weather is like in your neighborhood. If you can safely take pictures and videos of the storms or storm damage, we want to see them. The QR code will take you to our website where you can upload them or head right to foxbaltimore.com/chime-in. And put the power of the Weather Authority Storm Center in your hands. Download the free WBFF Weather Authority app for your smartphone and use our powerful Doppler radar to follow storms right down to your street. Just go to the App Store, search WBFF to get started.
I wish I was in a position to stand here and say that we have a suspect, that we know that this was a targeted thing. Not that that's a good thing, but that at least the rest of the community is not at threat, and I cannot say that.
Well, some chilling words tonight from Harford County Sheriff Jeffrey Gaylor after the suspected body of 37-year-old Rachel Morin was recovered from the Ma and Pa Trail in Bel Air Sunday afternoon. Morin was reported missing by her boyfriend Saturday night. Fox 45's Amy Simpson has the latest on the investigation.
This is the lot where investigators say they found Morin's car over the weekend. And this, the Ma and Pa Trail, is well loved and well used by this community. Deputies on ATVs at this entrance to Bel Air's Ma and Pa Trail today, one day after the suspected body of 37-year-old Rachel Morin was found by a walker just off the trail.
Hopefully, that we can bring this case to a resolution, but through to try to alleviate some of the concerns our community members have.
What was originally a missing persons case, now an active homicide investigation. The sheriff today calling it a heinous crime, but unable to say if this killing was targeted or random.
No, from what information we have, we're not comfortable making any assertion either way. So, as far as the community is concerned, they should be cautious.
A GoFundMe created by the victim's sister raising funeral funds for the 37-year-old mother of 5 and calling for justice for this grieving family. Today, the sheriff acknowledging the widespread attention of this case and the online chatter.
There's a lot of speculation. The detectives have the facts. Let them work the facts, and hopefully we can narrow it down to a suspect and then bring charges against them.
But while the sheriff says there are no suspects, the victim's boyfriend taking to social media, appearing to proclaim his innocence. This post from last week announcing a relationship between Richard Tobin and Rachel Morin. The post garnering hundreds of comments and speculation about the homicide. The suspected boyfriend weighing in. "I love Rachel." He commented within the last 24 hours. "I would never do anything to her. Let the family and I grieve. Yes, I have a past, but I also have 15 months clean and have changed as a person. Please." Court records show a Bel Air man by the same name has faced domestic violence accusations in a previous relationship. Today, Fox 45 News directly asking the sheriff about the victim's boyfriend.
He was the initial complainant. Rachel's boyfriend was the complainant who reported the missing person. So obviously our personnel have spoken with him. But, we are not in a position to say he's a suspect or that any person is a suspect.
This unusual and grisly crime prompting one Bel Air woman to carry mace today.
Me and my girlfriend were going to take a walk on the trail. We normally do this on Mondays, so this is our normal routine.
Upping her vigilance on a trail she uses regularly.
I was here Saturday, the day that she went missing, and I was here at 2 o'clock with my husband. The trail was packed. There was a lot of people here. There were dogs. There were a lot of girls walking by themselves.
You hate to hear of anything to happen to anyone, but to a woman, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. I mean, you can't even go out for a walk on a trail without losing your life.
This walker not questioning his safety with police nearby, but closely watching for an arrest.
I just hope they find them, and fast.
We are still waiting for a positive ID on that body recovered here from the medical examiner. Today, the sheriff would not say what condition that body was in when it was found here. He tells me there's some details they will not release this early in an investigation. In Bel Air, Amy Simpson, Fox 45 News.
Well, coming up after the break, new developments in the federal indictment of former President Donald Trump, how it is having an impact on the 2024 presidential race.
And getting hit hard right now south of the city down Anne Arundel County way. Some reports, at least on radar, of about 70 to 75 mile an hour winds with a line of strong to severe storms rolling through. We remain under weather alert into this evening. I'm tracking this line minute by minute, hour by hour, and letting you know when it's going to get out of here. That's in my Weather Authority forecast.
And Jonathan, that intense wind ripping power lines out of the ground in Westminster like they are toothpicks, tossed right onto a major roadway, one after another. Our storm coverage continues in just minutes. We are following the severe weather conditions throughout our area. This is a look at those power poles ripped out of the ground in Carroll County, Westminster, and a downed tree in the Pikesville area. A look at HarborCam shows the storms are moving out of the city. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Jonathan Myers.
Yeah, Mary, we are still tracking. I mean, this thing it's just not ending. The potential here, this is radar indicated, but the potential of continued 70 to 75, even about 80-mile-an-hour winds. Severna Park, eastbound eastern portion of Anne Arundel County. This is some of the strongest line of the storm that I could find up until this point. Capri Estates, you're also seeing in this kind of pinkish color the 70, 75, maybe 78-mile-an-hour wind gusts. And these are actually a little lower than they were when I picked these up earlier on. Just a few minutes ago. They were up to about 80 miles an hour. That's what you see in the red. Again, this is our velocity component to the radar. It's a feature that we can use to kind of judge how fast the winds are blowing. And you see this red line. These are anywhere between about 45 to 70, 75 miles an hour in strength. And that's what came through north and west of the city and continues to plow south and east. And this is why we have that continued severe thunderstorm warning now for Anne Arundel County. Portions now of the eastern shore also under a severe thunderstorm warning. That lasts until 7. And southern portions of Anne Arundel County toward Calvert County, you are under a severe thunderstorm warning. Lasts until 6:45 p.m. in this area. And everybody else still under that tornado watch until 9 p.m. Although once you get this line through, I think things will turn markedly better a lot quicker. Also, this is brand new. It looks like this area in red here that having a little trouble pixel querying it here. It looks like the tornado watch has taken precedence, but this Woodlawn to Owings Mills, Towson area, you in this red box, you're now under a flash flood warning. That will continue into the evening hours as well. So if you do see water covering the area that you're going to be driving into, turn around, choose another route. You don't want to mess with this stuff. Doesn't take much. A foot or two of water can start floating a car. In terms of the biggest threats through about 8 p.m. this evening, if you haven't seen the line come through, damaging winds. That's actually kind of taken over as the biggest risk. There could be still some hail. There's definitely going to be some heavy rain, and there still could be a spin-up tornado, especially on the eastern shores. This red risk is beginning to push eastbound. If you do get a tornado, you do get the damaging winds. Again, we've had that moderate level 4 of 5 risk of severe weather today. It would be potentially, for our area at least, on the higher end of things, which would be a tornadic type of activity would be somewhere between EF2, EF3 potentially, somewhere above 100-mile-an-hour winds. And even the winds that we're seeing that are not tornado related, extremely damaging. You saw what they did up there around Westminster. I'm sure we're going to be seeing a lot of scenes like this and maybe some widespread power outages as this bow echo, or even some folks may say, depending on the damage, derecho pulls across the area. Widespread wind damage, it looks like, with this line of storm. 70 right now. The storms continue there on the Toyota Ocean Harbor Skycam. Once this cold front pushes through out to the west, that's the next weather maker. That's when we see the line of storms move east. By about 8, 9 o'clock, I think things do begin to dry out. I'm going to let you know what comes behind it. My exclusive 10-day forecast in a couple of minutes.
Continuing coverage tonight. Tonight, we're awaiting a response from former President Donald Trump's legal team to a protective order proposed by federal prosecutors in the case against him and his alleged efforts to overturn the results of the 2020 election. National correspondent Christine Frizzell brings us a look at the case that is dominating the news cycle.
Mary, just like Republican lawmakers here on Capitol Hill, GOP presidential candidates would rather not be talking about Donald Trump. But with this latest indictment and the story really changing by the day, there's a good chance that his name and his face will be plastered all over everyone's screens for the foreseeable future. It's become a media landscape like no other.
A federal grand jury has voted to indict the former president,
charged with attempting to remain in power even when he knew he had lost the election.
It's the third time he's been indicted on criminal charges since leaving the White House.
A single story dominating the news cycle that even Donald Trump himself seems to want to remain.
Every time they file an indictment, we go way up in the polls. We need one more indictment to close out this election.
The election also playing out in Iowa, where 2024 GOP presidential candidates gathered to little fanfare and little interest in their policy proposals, instead fielding countless questions about the former president, most doing that delicate dance of not wanting to alienate Trump voters, but also trying to look ahead.
If, on the other hand, the election is not about January 20th, 2025, but January 6th, 2021, or what document was left by the toilet at Mar-a-Lago, if it's a referendum on that, we are going to lose.
January 6th and Donald Trump's alleged role in it will for now loom large over the national debate. One point of contention, U.S. District Court Judge Tanya Chutkan, known for issuing higher sentences convicted January 6th rioters than even prosecutors had asked for, telling one rioter that he did not go to the United States Capitol out of any love for our country. He went for one man. In a post on Truth Social, Trump called Judge Chutkan Jack Smith's #1 draft pick, the judge of his dreams. Looking ahead, any day now, we are expecting a 4th indictment to be issued against Donald Trump for allegedly trying to overthrow the results of the 2020 presidential election in the state of Georgia. Mary?
And still ahead, our storm coverage continues tonight. We're taking a live look at a tree that is down in Pikesville. We also have power lines down and lots of people without power. We'll have more on our weather alert coming up.